Very good morning, my dear students. Today we are about to conclude the chapter number 8. As we all know that we were studying the chapter which is related with preamble, constitution, human rights, concurrent list, and distinctive features of our constitution. Today we will be talking about hereditary powers, unified arrangement around during crisis, and all that stuff. We have already studied a bit about it, so let us give it a quick review. It goes like this: unified arrangement during crisis. There are three provisions for emergencies in Constitution in India. National emergency can be declared at the time of war, external attack or armed rebellion. Now, this is the thing which we have to go through very thoroughly. You guys have never seen emergency in your life, but at the time, India has suffered great times of depression as well as war and emergencies. So at that time, they have got certain kind of provisions for the common people, which was later introduced in Constitution, as they have already suffered it. So they knew how bad it was and how we can curb that. For curbing that thing, there were unified arrangements. And what were those arrangements? It is given in the Constitution. National emergency can be declared at the time of war. If we are in war with some country, a country which is very close to us, as we have already fought war against China, Pakistan. So these type of situations are known as national emergency. An external attack is somebody attacks us. Pakistan had already attacked many times to India, and India has given Pakistan a befitting reply. So, and or armed rebellion. Armed rebellion means if an organization which is not recognized by the government takes things in their hand, if they've got arms, and there are certain institutions. I don't want to call them institutions. They are terrorist organizations, just as such as JKLF. It was given in the later social book. JKLF means Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front. They wanted Jammu Kashmir as a different and distinctive country. Same as that, ULFA was also there, United Liberation Army of Assam, ULFA, and many different organizations are active. LTTE was responsible for killing our Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, LTT Tamil Litte. It was connected with Sri Lanka, though they were Tamilians. So these kind of armed rebellions happens all the time across India, because India is a land of diversity and many people are still not satisfied with what they are getting, the land, the type of money. They wanted their own recognition. Most of the people are fighting for the recognition. So these kind of things are happening. So due to the law and order breakdown, if somebody breaks the law and order, we have to go through the emergency. The state cannot function according to the constitution, so constitutional emergency is declared. It is said that at that time we call it Rashtrapati Shasan. They impose Rashtrapati Shasan. Rashtrapati Shasan, president rule. It means the army will take over and army will take care of every single thing. The police will be opted out. Police will not take care, because police is related with the state. Police cannot do anything about it, so they take things in their hand. Who takes the thing? Army takes the thing in their hand. Due to increase in prices, there is monetary value erosion at all. At that, financial emergency is declared. Financial emergency can be also declared. It is known as depression, मंदी जिसे बोलते हैं. Due to increase in prices, बहुत ज़्यादा अगर prices बढ़ जाएंगे, तो that is also a problem. The central government has been given more powers to deal with these emergencies. At that time of emergency, India is almost turned into a unitary system. At that time, India becomes unitary system. Parliamentary system. India has a parliamentary system of governance. We have got the parliament, and different countries have got their own parliaments, which is known by different names, such as Duma, and different names are there. So India has a parliamentary system of governance. In a parliamentary system, the parliament is the supreme authority representing people. We chose people on district level. They go on to the state level. Then the states decides on to the national level, and these people represent us. We vote them. They go over there. They are our representatives in the parliament, and they decide. They speak our words. What we need. They are our representatives. They speak to the government. They get us what we want. This is the so motto of these people. The legislature at the union in the parliament. The parliament is bicameral, means it has two houses, upper house and lower house. Means we need affirmation of these two houses if we want, if the government wants to pass a law. Law is very important. If you want to amend a law or you have to pass an article, we have to be in confidence with these two houses. Upper house is called Rajya Sabha, lower house is known as Lok Sabha. Though the government is carried on in the name of the president at the union and the governor in the states, actual administration is carried by the council of ministers headed by the prime minister. In India, as bola gaya, the president is for namesake. President has got many powers, but actually the power lies within the prime minister as well as the cabinet ministers. It has got its council of ministers at the union and the chief minister in the states. The council of ministers is responsible to the legislature that comprises representative of the people. The president selects 12 people who are experts and experienced from various fields for Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is permanent house in which 1/3 members retire every 2 years. That is very important. 1/3 members, 1/3 part of the Rajya Sabha retires every 2 years, and same number of member for election, and same number of people come. Thus, each member has 6 years of tenure in Rajya Sabha. So they have got the 6 year of tenure in Rajya Sabha Council of State. The powers of Rajya Sabha are less compared to Lok Sabha, which is special, superior and decisive. So Rajya Sabha से ज़्यादा बड़ी क्या है? Rajya Sabha less compared to the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is decisive, special and superior. Rajya Sabha cannot be completely dissolved. It cannot be dissolved at any cost. Then independent and impartial judiciary. The constitution has provided for the establishment of the independent and impartial judiciary. There is Supreme Court at the top. We have got local panchayats, then district courts, then high court, and then Supreme Court. These are the courts, and we have got civil courts as well as criminal courts. So we have got distinctive, but now we have got consumer courts also. There is a Supreme Court at the top. Then there are high courts at the states, and under its jurisdiction are the district courts. At district level and at the taluka level, there are local and special courts. Taluka level courts are also there. The judgments of Supreme Courts are binding to all the subordinate courts of the nations. In case of conflict between the union and state governments, matter relating to constitution and interpretation of statutes, the final decision is vested with Supreme Courts. अब जो final decision है, it is vested with Supreme Court. It is with Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the protector and guardian of the Constitution. This is a very important line, and it says all that Supreme Court is the supreme power. That is why it is known as Supreme Court. If you are unsatisfied with any kind of decision at panchayat or taluka level, you can go or move towards district level, and you can present your case, and over there whatever decision comes, if you are still unsatisfied, you can move to the High Court. High Court is willing to accept. Then over there, if you are unsatisfied and if you are willing to move to the Supreme Court, you can go to the Supreme Court. But Supreme Court has got the final decision. If Supreme Court says something, if the decision has been given, then there is no turning back. Okay, so these are the steps. The judgments of Supreme Court are binding to all the subordinate courts. Guardian. Then amendments in Constitution. Compared to other countries, Constitution of India is dynamic. Constitution can be amended as and when required. Constitutional provisionals can be amended three ways. It can be amended. Amended means I've already told you it cannot be changed. It can be mended a bit. We can tweak a little bit or we can make slight changes. It cannot be changed. So amendment can be made by a simple majority of members present and voting to the parliament. Amendment can be made by a simple majority. If many of the people, just as in your class, if somebody says we want PT period and 40 out of 60 students raise their hands that they want the PT period. So it is a clear majority. So they can move it's a voting kind of system. If majority is there, anything can be passed out. Certain amendments require a special majority, that is 2/3 majority of members present and voting. Some amendments need at least special majority, that is 2/3 majority of members present in voting. Those who are present and voting, from them 2/3 are very important. Then concerning the union-state relations, the special majority, that is 2/3, and the concurrence is not less than 50% of state legislature is required. If there is any amendment to be made in interrelations between union, state structure of or on in supreme judiciary, then half of the states from the total states have to give consent. Consent means they have to give their okay, done, you can go through their consent. Judgment of court can also bring amendment to the parliament. That is a very important line. Go through it. Court can also intervene between, and they can also amend certain things, certain laws, or which are passed out by the parliament. There can be no change in the basic structure of the constitution. I have already told you there can be no change in constitution. It can be only amended. It cannot be changed at all. Simple majority in parliament can bring change in amendments of the constitution. We can make slight changes in amendments of the constitution. That's why the constitution is known as the most inconstant and flexible document. That is the reason it is known as inconstant, which cannot be stable. आज जो है वो कल नहीं होगा. Laws can change. Just imagine, before 50 years, people were not frequent with cars or scooters or bikes. So there was no certain law relating or regarding helmets. But now helmet is a law. So seat belt is a law. But so it as the time changes, the system changes. Known as the most inconsistent flexible document, but at the certain cases it is not amendable or simple by a simple majority. With the majority consent of states is not amendable. Then the mixture of both makes the constitution. Then universal adult suffrage. In India, we have system of adult suffrage, which is flexible according to that of any citizen which is above 18 years of age and above possesses right to vote in elections of parliament, legislative assemblies or local self-government bodies without any discrimination of education, property and economic standard. Just go through, we are going to go through it once again. We were talking about universal adult suffrage. In India, we have system of adult suffrage, which is flexible. According to that, any citizen who is above 18 years of age and above possess right to vote in elections of parliament, legislative assemblies or local self-government bodies without any discrimination of education, property and economic standard. It means that a citizen who is 18 years of age has got all the powers. He possesses the right to vote in elections of parliament, legislative assemblies or local self-government bodies without any discrimination of education. Either he is educated or not, either he has got property or not, or any kind of economic standard. He's maintaining economic standard or not. He has got the right to vote. Then secularism. We have discussed earlier about secularism in the preamble. In the constitution, India has been declared as a secular state. Secular means one nation who takes care of every religion, faith and belief. People of different religions reside in India. Therefore, the state cannot discriminate any citizen on the basis of religion. No citizen can be given special rights or cannot be deprived of certain rights. The state has to be absolutely impartial and neutral in respect of religion. It is given in our constitution that the state has to be absolutely impartial about it. That we should give more rights to a certain community or creed or caste. It is not impossible. It is not possible by constitution. It says that the state has to be absolutely impartial and neutral in respect of religion. Only secular state can offer proper or equal treatment towards all citizens. So they need to be secular. अल्पसंख्यक भी हैं, माइनॉरिटीज़ हैं, SC/ST ट्राइब्स हैं, क्रीमी लेयर है, अपर जो जनरल कास्ट है, OBC, all of them are equal treatment मिलना चाहिए. Secularism means that the state doesn't interfere in matters of religion. इसका मतलब क्या है? That is the actual point. It says that it doesn't interfere in matters of religion or is biased to any specific religion. The state has to be secular and indifferent. Followers of every religion are free to follow and practice their religion of choice. Followers of every religion are free to follow and practice their religion of choice. Okay? They can also convert, they can also change their religion if they wanted to, because it is all in their belief. Whatever they believe, it is very important. Then judicial review. Judicial review is the chief characteristic of the Constitution. Judicial review administers the working of union and state within jurisdiction. Without disrespecting the powers of Parliament, the Constitution has made an effort to harmonize the principles of judicial review. Over here, the spelling of judicial is wrong. Judicial review. Judicial review means, actually what is the meaning is the chief characteristic of the Constitution. Judicial review administers the working of union state within jurisdiction. कानून के हिसाब से चल रहे हैं कि नहीं चल रहे हैं. Without disrespecting the powers of Parliament, according to the Parliament, and Constitution has made an effort to harmonize the principle of judicial review. Harmonize means balance, to make balance. Parliamentary amendments, external orders, ordinances, and judicial judgments are given for judicial review. If the court finds any indiscrepancy in the external order, किसी टाइप की indiscrepancy हुई, कोई प्रॉब्लम हुई, हल्की सी मिस्टेक कहीं पर हुई external orders में, ordinances, कोई ordinance पास किया जाता है, और judicial judgment, it can be stopped by declaring them unconstitutional. उसे रोका जा सकता है because it is not abiding by the Constitution. Then fundamental rights and duties. Fundamental rights are conferred to the people of India by the Constitution to live a dignified life. As we are an Indian citizen, we have got all the rights to live a dignified life. Izzatdar Zindagi. The most valuable capital of our country is in the overall development of nation, which further lies in the fundamental duties and rights. Right to constitutional remedies, and for the children of 6 to 14 years of age, right to educate are also made available. Abhi, this new law has been passed out, which says that right to constitutional remedies and the children to 6 to 14 years of age has a right to educate without any money. They've got all the rights to right to education. RTE, you have heard about it, RTE. आप कहीं भी किसी भी बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट स्कूल्स के अंदर फॉर्म भर के, इफ़ यू आर अंडर प्रिविलेज्ड और डिप्राइव्ड और योर इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन इज़ नॉट गुड, सो और इफ़ यू बिलोंग टू SC/ST community or OBC or a minority, you can fill a form, or in a radius of 5 to 6 kilometers you can fill a form of or your selection, you can select any school, and 25% seats are reserved for those students, those who want to take any school. You can take any English medium school also, there is no problem, private school or whatever school, whichever school you like. That is RTE. Okay, so it is made possible by the government. Then directive principles of state policy. Protection of people's security and welfare should be carried out by the states. These principles provide directions for state governances and policy making. So they are called as directive principle. Some of the principles which are directive principles, according to that we have to follow certain rules. Then provision for backward sections and tribes. to uplift and include backward sections and tribes and deprived, over here the spelling of deprived is also wrong, deprived class in the mainstream. There are specific provisions in the constitution. Reserve seats are allocated in legislature and local self-governing bodies, election to provide representation. Reservation quota has been provided for admission in education institutes and government jobs in proportion to their population to provide equal opportunity. Over here opportunity spelling is also wrong. The children of backward sections and tribes are given scholarship. उनको scholarship जाती है. छात्रवृत्ति आपने सुना होगा. Basic amenities, food, shelter, clothes, these things are given to them. And waived fees waive की जाती है, कम की जाती है, which come under optimistic policies. These are optimistic policies, so they can get a talent from there. And shielding policies, we want to shield them because they were deprived from centuries, and we want to give them opportunities to move as per provision in the constitution. These are the provisions for the backward section as well as for the backward tribes also. So the chapter is completed. You should go through all the question and answers. The notes are already given, so please go through it so you will get to know more about it. And the chapter is not so difficult, and data is very less. The only if you read it once, you can get the idea. There's activity. You gather photocopy of Constitution of India for supportive referential chapter. You can do that and prepare points of comparison related to constitution of countries like America, India, and Britain. We can compare our constitution. What is difference between the Constitution of America, India, and Britain, as well as prepare a project of latest amendments in Indian Constitution. You can do that. Latest amendments क्या क्या हुए हैं? Arrange a talk on the topic of Constitution of Fundamental Rights and Duties of eminent advocate or expert parent or professor of a law college. You can go through that. Prepare a pictorial wall poster on the frames of Constitution, new frames. Then who framed the Constitution? Framers of the Constitution. Arrange a mock election for class committee. That's a very exciting thing. You can do that. Mock election for class committee, class representative, and general secretary at school level. Provide training for counting of votes. We have already done that in. I have already done that in my last schools. That's a very good thing. It gives us a class committee, a class representative, a general secretary. It gives us sense of responsibility, and we should know what are our directive principles and directive policies, so we should abide by the law. These kind of things are very helpful and resourceful. So in the next lecture we are going to move to the fundamental rights, fundamental policies, and distinctive things related to that. It is closely connected to the 8th chapter, so go through it, and the data is already given. That is preamble of India. We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, social, secular, democratic republic, and are to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. This is very important thing. This is the soul of Constitution. So today we are concluding this chapter. We are going to revise this chapter in the later months. So please go through it. Take care. Study hard.